Now, if you're a Toronto fan, I do want to leave you with a little bit of hope in that.
I don't, because that's still that's still that's nothing to be proud of.
Stick time. Stick out. Stick time. Stick out. Stick time. Stick out. Stick time. Stick
And
Hockey.
Hockey.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 110 of Stick Talk Hockey. As always, I'm your host, Tico. This is my co-host.
I'm yours, Trilly.
Over there, we got our producer.
Producer Jay.
And we are here on Leafs Groundhog Day.
It's always the same.
It's always the same.
You know you're due for good golf if the Leafs choke a Game 7. Like, dust out the clubs, boys.
Yeah, no doubt.
I already have mine sitting in the truck.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're here for a spectacular day, unfortunately. Another one gone. Another Game 7 in the books for the Leafs. And, yeah, it kind of went as we expected. Unfortunately, like, I was real deal cheering for the Leafs. Like, I'm very sad to see we're getting a Carolina-Florida Eastern Conference Final rematch. So that's boring to me. But I knew in my heart of hearts, the Leafs are the Leafs, and it's Game 7.
Yeah, Cats in 7.
Cats in 7, and they're at home. And it got ugly pretty quick, right? Like you knew, okay, it was tense. They didn't play well at all in the first period.
No, and they got smothered for it.
Yeah, but they got out of it.
They
right?
did. They managed to survive, but they were being smothered the entire period. It looked terrible.
Absolutely. That game could have, Florida had the first 21 shot attempts.
Like, how?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you let it get that out of hand in a Game 7?
And you know what? I was actually kind of hopeful at the end of one because, we were in here talking about Craig Berube and what he's done for this team and all of that. And I was like, okay, well, they had their blow-up period here, and they got out of it 0-0. That's a good place to be. When if you're going to have your collapse, have it early and don't let yourself get too far into the hole.
Yep.
And then they came out in the second.
And they did the same thing.
And
they left Wall out to dry.
3 goals in 6 minutes, and the game was over.
You knew it right there.
We seen the clip of Marner on the bench yelling, "Wake the f*** up!" to the team. Brother, that's you. Anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, what'd you do?
And then, I mean, the real moment that you knew that was over was that clip of Berube losing his shit on the bench. And it's like, oh, well, that's that, I suppose.
Yeah, GG's, good season.
And then they had, 20 seconds in the third where they made it a 3-1 game, and then Florida just back on the gas pedal.
Yeah, buried them again.
And it was those 3 goals, those 3 quick goals, and the entire night just turned. The fans turned. They got booed off the ice in the second.
That building got empty quick.
Yeah. I mean, duh.
I mean, you could at least see them out.
No. They don't deserve it. Leafs don't deserve it. Time and time and time and time. Wait, time and time and time and time and time and time again. 6, right?
6.
6
times.
times
0-6.
for the core 4.
That's crazy work.
Yeah, I mean, so that's a combined 12 Game 7s for Marner and Matthews, where neither of them have registered a single goal.
Woof.
Yeah. Matthews after the game, "I thought we had too many passengers." Direct quote. Where were you, brother? Driving, you think?
Yeah, Marner agreed. He doubled down. He doubled down on that sentiment.
Oh, baby.
Interesting. Interesting indeed.
And then just like Brad Marchand, just like playing the media game so well after as well,
God, that little rat fink bastard.
Like just talking about how good the Leafs are, and then like they asked him if he's like about how he feels about being the Leaf killer, and he's like, "Oh no, that's not me." And then Biz is up there like, "What the hell, dude?" And he's like, "Yeah, we just had to believe." It's so good.
Brad Marchand pisses me off, but it's
Yeah.
so goddamn funny watching him politic the Leafs into having to make moves in the offseason.
I know. And it is. It's
You
perfect.
You could see it. He was stoking the fire.
course.
He's patronizing the shit out of the fan base, and
Yeah.
they're too dumb to tell. So they're gonna be like, "Yeah, we do have a good team." He's right. We did have a good team.
I don't think you have very many Leafs fans that think that this morning. I really don't. Like, you look at the Leafs forums, you look anywhere that has Leafs fans, and it's just pain.
And rightfully so, but I mean, like, I don't know. These are the same fans that every September could turn around and go, well, "This is our season. This is our year."
Well, yeah. It's real tough. It's real tough scenes in Toronto. Chris Rooney, on a side note though, took the stick up to the face early.
Oh God, that was a brutal whack.
Yeah, that looked really tough. I mean, the blood all over the ice.
I was scared. I thought he was gonna lose an eye.
Yeah, 100%. So thankfully, we find out he got hit above the eye,
Thankfully,
so it cut him. He's got a black eye, but no major damage. Looks like he's going to be back to ref in the third round. Good stuff to see. Hate
Love
to see that.
Love that.
I want to talk about something about the Leafs here. This was brought up in a group chat that we're in from a Leafs fan that we know, Craig Corbet. And I'd like to put this quote out here because I hadn't thought about it before, but I completely agree. In fact, I think it's something that's not talked about enough now. So, he had said, hockey players are literally the softest of any sport. I'm sick of seeing all these quotes about the fans and the media pressure being too much. Like 25 people watch hockey compared to the other major sports. LeBron James and Tom Brady had people absolutely ripping on them on a daily basis on national broadcasts all across the states constantly, and they were incredibly successful. It's literally just part of being a major athlete. If you can't handle the pressures of people actually caring and you just want to hide, then you shouldn't be playing a nationally televised sport.
Soft.
Factual.
It's not wrong.
You know, this is something like I've been talking about with the Canucks all year, how like Jim Rutherford and Patrick Alvin and even like Elias Pettersson and JT Miller, they go on and on and on about how, the media is so blah, blah, blah. Well, you guys always make the most out of this and da, da, da. And it's like, okay, first of all, kind of cap, like the Vancouver media, we talked about this before, just lobs softball questions all the time with no follow-ups. So, no. Second of all, this is just a self-fulfilling prophecy where you're like, oh, the media, and then you just have it in your head. And then third of all, it's not that bad.
I've seen worse.
Like, if you compare it to the NBA and the NFL, like, there's no media market in the NHL that's anywhere close to, like, the softest NFL markets.
Yeah. Oh, no, 100%. Or even if you look across the seas at, like Europe. You look at those footballers.
Premier League and all that, yeah.
Yeah, they got like millions of fans per team. And these guys are getting scrutinized for every step they take on that pitch.
Yeah. I mean, like, and especially with journalism, like, kind of falling off. Like, what is there, like 5 beat writers for the Leafs?
And a couple podcasts.
Like, get over yourselves.
Delete Twitter. Just get offline. Focus on your game or something. I don't know if it's that big of a deal. Then, like, I don't know. Treat yourself like an iPad kid. Restrict your time.
Yeah, because I mean, then you have the other players from the other team like saying the same stuff, right? Like Matthew Tkachuk says, if their team wasn't in Toronto dealing with all the crazy circus stuff, they'd be an unbelievable team.
Whatever.
Yeah,
right.
And then, Brad Marchand noting the same thing, like, like it's a second round game. Like, I've played in way bigger games. This game's not that big. But the media beats the pressure into the Leafs. And it's like, you don't think they've done that to themselves by losing every single one of them?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know what relieves the pressure? Winning.
Just winning.
Just go and win. Problem solved.
I don't know.
Believe it or not, the opinions of journalists shouldn't matter to you. They just shouldn't.
It's part of the job of being a professional athlete is dealing with the media.
Jordan was actively breaking records, and there was still national headlines
Yeah.
about how doo-doo he was.
Yeah.
Regularly. He just went, okay, bet, watch this.
I mean, like, I think about, like, the last, like, 20 years of LeBron slander on national television by people who should not honestly be allowed to say the things that they say.
Exactly. Like,
And he
So-
just went out there and got chips.
so what the frickin' biggest paper in Detroit put out an article that said your ass.
Who cares?
Go and put up 50. Problem solved.
And, like, he's done it in, it's not like he just did it in Cleveland. Like, he did it in Miami and LA. Like the big bad markets, you know?
Yeah.
Insanity. It is actual insanity. And I hadn't really thought about it until last night. So shout out to Craig for writing that out, because yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal.
I think the only two sports that have softer athletes when it comes to fan interactions is tennis and golf.
So fair.
Like,
Yeah.
actually think about that. And those
Yeah.
are, like, very entitled sports.
Those are
some-
like two of the softest sports.
Exactly. And very entitled athletes for the most
Absolutely,
part.
yeah.
I've been in golf, so don't you dare protest me on that one.
I mean, hockey's like touted, and that's the thing, right? Hockey's touted as this tough sport where they show, you see the compilations on the internet where it's like, basketball player sitting on the bench after taking a ball to the face, and then it's like, Bergeron out there playing with a punctured lung. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
hockey's like touted as this tough sport, but anytime like anyone's like, "Hey, why are you playing badly right now?" They're like, "Hey, man, don't do that."
I have feelings too.
Oh, give me a break. And then the Marchand empty netter, like that just, you knew it was coming.
Yeah, you can't avoid it. Death taxes, victim to Brad Marchand.
Wow.
That's the Leafs.
That's the Leafs. I mean, that's the Leafs. Yeah. So, I mean, the Panthers move on. They're going to play the Carolina Hurricanes.
And to counter your snooze fest, I'm actually kind of excited for this just as a Carolina hater.
Yeah.
Because I want to see them just get run through the wall.
Jay, you got any excitement for this series?
No, not really.
See, this is the worst of all worlds for me. Like, I don't know about y'all, but like, it's literally just like, okay, this another Florida team in the Eastern Conference Final playing this. Like, look, it reminds me so much of Boston 2011, where like they've just adopted this mentality of like, we'll just play dirty all game all the time because they can't call everything, and then they end up calling nothing because it's all the same level of dirty.
Yep.
Exactly what Boston 2011 did.
Yep.
And then they added the Boston 2011 guy on top of that.
Well, you had to really figure it out. You got to mind your P's and Q's. And
so then it's that team against this boring ass Carolina team and like, we already know the outcome of this series. Like, we all know, right, that Florida's going to win this series?
yeah, oh yeah. Yeah.
Jay?
Yeah, Cats in 5.
I mean, we know. So like,
Do
What
we
a
want
shame.
to just get our round predictions out now? Because I got Cats in 5. Jay?
honestly, yeah, let's do it. Cats in 5. Jay, what do you got?
Cats and 6.
I'm also on Cats in 6. Just because Bobrovsky's had shaky games, and I think he'll probably have another one or two shaky games. Carolina probably capitalizes on that, but I think, it's 2 years ago we saw this series and it was a Florida sweep. I don't think that's happening. But I feel like we know the outcome here.
I just think Carolina. I still stand by it. I think Carolina's fake tough.
Yeah.
I don't think that when they run into a real tough team,
Yeah.
that is willing to be as dirty as them and is just better at it.
Yeah.
I mean, and the same thing happened with Washington. I said they shouldn't be getting
Mhm.
into that nitty gritty stuff because they're not as good at being dirty as Carolina, and they
Mhm.
did, and they fell apart over it.
Yeah, 100%.
So same kind of thing here, except I think it'll flip the opposite way. I don't think the Chatfield holds a match to the top 7 dirtiest players on Florida.
Yep, I agree. And you know what? I got to give a shout out to Seth Jones.
Man, he balled out.
Did he ever? He had himself a game. And yeah, he had himself a series, really. He played great all series. I knew that adding him was a pretty, good move for Florida, but I wasn't expecting him to kind of have that takeover game gene still in him.
Yeah, and I was really worried about the Seth Jones identity coming into
Sure.
like Florida because he has always been a little bit more of an apprehensive and delicate dude.
Sure.
But he's fit into that play style perfectly.
Yeah.
Like, I have no complaints. I was very concerned when they first grabbed him, though. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, like this is an Orlov situation. Like, ho hum, it's gonna be cracked out to be this huge thing, and it's gonna go nowhere.
Yeah.
No.
No.
No. No. He's still got it.
Jay, you got any thoughts on this series coming up?
No, honestly, like the only note, like I don't even have a point for this. I'm just saying that Carolina only coming off of 1 day of rest. Florida.
Florida, yeah.
Meanwhile, Carolina hasn't played since Thursday.
Right.
Just an interesting note.
Something to keep an eye on for sure. One of these days, we should actually really compile some data on rest in the postseason and what it means.
Yeah,
Be interesting.
I'm also a believer in keeping the momentum going. It's not
Totally.
like they really ran into any like it was a dominant win.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's not like they were, getting banged around too much or,
No.
they have any like wounds to lick in the off day.
Yeah.
They're just going to take a day off, go and hit morning skate tomorrow and treat it like any other game.
Yeah.
And
As they
honestly,
should.
I kind of prefer that.
Yeah, that's what I mean, right? Like, because I kind of feel both ways on it. I feel like rest is good in the postseason because you get banged up, but also like keeping the momentum going is good. So maybe next week we'll come back with some data compiled of what rest in the playoffs actually does. So I'd like to see what the answer is.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get out of the East here. Let's move over to the Jets.
Soul crushing.
What a shame. I mean, what an emotional day. All
Honestly.
around. Like, the whole thing was just emotional, right? Like, Scheifele, there was the news that came out the morning of the game that we didn't know if he was going to play that night because he just found out his dad had passed away. And I mean, he ends up playing. I don't even know how you make a decision like that. It's so in the moment. Like, I felt so bad for the guy, and then he comes out, and we get that hockey storyline moment, right, where he scores the opening goal.
Quote unquote, one of the biggest goals in Jets history.
Yeah,
That's what they're calling it.
Absolutely.
Fair enough.
And I mean, it was so beautiful, but then it all falls apart. It ends up being the only goal the Jets score. He's Mark Scheifele himself is sitting in the box in overtime on the penalty kill as Dallas wins the series. And that's just like not what you wanted to see.
No,
You know?
that crushed me. I was so happy for the guy to get the goal and get it early. I was like, okay, this is the story that we're going to get.
Yeah.
We're going to see a game 7. We're going to see, that really emotional, feel-good story, the this one's for you, Dad moment. I
Yeah.
love those moments.
I know, it's the best thing.
And god damn. No, the hockey gods, sometimes they're cruel and they're
They are.
merciless.
They really are.
And that's got to suck as a teammate too. Not even just like
Totally.
definitely you can empathize with the guy who's like going through it obviously, but
Of
like
course.
the guilt of like not even being able to score one for
Yeah.
the guy.
Not even being able to do it for your guy who came out here, battled through this
For you.
for you.
Yeah.
I know. And you know what? Class, a whole lot of class shown from Dallas, I thought.
And Dallas fans.
And Dallas fans, 100%.
Over $30,000 raised
Yeah.
for Mark Shafley's Kids Sport campaign.
Donating $55 his number, obviously.
Yeah, everyone donating 55 for 55 in memory of his dad. That's what hockey's all about.
It was beautiful. It really was. And Dallas, like the team and the line and the handshake line, there was a lot of class shown, which I like to see.
Yeah, from everyone involved. I mean, even guys who I don't like.
Yeah.
Class act stuff.
100%.
And you got to tip your hat to stuff like that. And it really falls back on the adage of enemies temporarily, but community forever.
Yeah. Factual. Something I really wanted to note to you in particular, Jay.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of conversations about Jake Ottinger over the last few years.
Indeed.
And a lot of them have been about how his reputation has ridden off that Dallas-Calgary series, right?
Yeah.
I feel like this wasn't a reputation-changing series for Ottinger, but maybe it might have been. Or maybe it should have been. Like, Ottinger actually won the goaltending battle against Connor Hellebuck.
Yeah, he
did.
stood tall. He looked great. I had no complaints. I mean, aside from that, like, one shot that Appleton lit off right in his chest. And I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, you're just so damn lucky.
Yeah.
But aside from that, he made all the saves he shouldn't have made. He made saves he should have. He looked solid.
Yeah.
Didn't cause me panic.
Not once did I feel panicked about Jake Ottinger in that series.
No.
You know, I feel like Ottinger's reputation off that Calgary series may have dipped a bit, but like, I don't know. That was quite the series from him, and I'm excited to see how he handles the two biggest guns on earth right now in Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl.
Like, what do you do?
Pray.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, that's about it. I mean, that's a whirlwind. You're going to have to really hope that your defense is healthy and can step up and actually do their job.
Yeah, this is going to be a real interesting series. We get the rematch from last year, Dallas and Edmonton. That one ended in 6 in Edmonton's favor. I feel like Dallas, assuming they don't roll over, it's going to be a tougher series for Edmonton than it was last time.
I think the Dallas is a little bit deeper now. They definitely have a little bit more speed and skill throughout their lines. So they're still going to get exploited on the first line. There's no way around it. You can't contain Connor McDavid.
Yeah, I feel like they're not quite as deep as they were last year without, some of the defense subtractions along with Stankoven gone. But they have a higher top gear with Rantanen.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, they've still had some really promising looks from some of their younger guys. I mean, you have Thomas Harley, who's been playing amazing.
Oh, so good.
You got Wyatt Johnson, who's looked absolutely phenomenal for his age. I'm not complaining at all.
No, not at all.
Like, that's the way I wish that Dawson Mercer was playing, but he's not.
Yeah.
But this ain't about me right now.
Matthias Ekholm, full participant in practice.
Great news.
That's huge news.
That's massive.
Yeah. Ekholm coming back would be enormous for that group.
100%.
I saw, to quote at Cloud Posts, someone said Texas versus Canadian Texas.
Not wrong.
Not wrong.
Battle of it's the Yi versus the Ha.
The NBA 82 game grind is done, and now the real fun begins. The NBA playoffs are here, and it's time for all the high-stakes drama, clutch moments, and jaw-dropping plays. I can't wait. If you're looking to make the playoffs even more exciting, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered as an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Try placing a bet on your favorite player's performance. Will they drop 30 points, 40, or more? It's your call. Here's something special for the first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Make it a playoff run to remember with DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, and Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball. NFL Plus Premium offer available only to new and former NFL Plus subscribers. Additional NFL Plus Premium terms at nfl.com/terms.
Jay, you got anything in the series you're looking for particularly?
Nah. I'm honestly, like, I'm pretty confident Edmonton's going to win.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be shocked otherwise.
Yeah, that's fair. Dallas will have home ice, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be shocked too.
Who's going to have home ice in the Florida-Carolina series?
Carolina.
Carolina will. Now, okay, so the follow-up to that, can you pull up the regular season standings? If Edmonton makes it to the final, will they get home ice? I feel like they finished with like 2 more points than Carolina.
I'm pretty certain they do.
And Florida faltered down the stretch too. I think they will, but not by a lot. And that just goes to show you how important the regular season actually is. Wow. Yeah, they finished with 2 more points than Carolina and 3 more points than Florida. That's huge. I real deal think that last year the Edmonton Oilers win the Stanley Cup if they had home ice.
I'm not going to act like home ice advantage doesn't make a difference after watching this year in particular.
Yeah, I mean, this Edmonton team at home is so good.
Yeah.
Same, and kind of similar to the Jets at home, right? Jets at home were a different team than the Jets on the road were.
Yeah. I think that it's really interesting how much more home ice advantage has mattered in the last half a decade, maybe even a full decade. But I remember growing up and like you would see all the time throughout the late 2000s, early 2010s, up to maybe 2014, teams were winning on the road all the time.
Yep.
It was almost bizarre to see a team not succeed on the road at certain points. Like it became a thing where you're like, oh, and they got it done at home. Isn't that a nice feeling?
I feel like it just depends on the group. Like it's not every team. Like the Canucks this year were way better on the road than they were at home. But for some reason, like the Oilers at home, I mean, their atmosphere is out of this world. I get that, but I don't know what does that, but there's something there.
It's weird, right?
Yeah.
Just weird. I just wanted to make that observation.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's not even a data-driven feeling.
No,
It's just a vibe I've been getting in the last little bit where like the emphasis has been on home ice advantage, and I never cared before.
Mm-mm. I got the Oilers in 6 on this one. I think it's going to be a tougher 6 than the last one was. Actually, you know what? No, give me the Oilers in 7 out.
I was gonna match you on it, so I'll take Oilers in 6 for the diversity.
I too got the Oilers in 6.
Okay, well now I'm thankful I took them in 7. It would have been a sweep Oilers in 6 otherwise.
I mean, is this the first time that we've all agreed on like
both
of the results?
Wow, it's possible.
It's kind of crazy.
See, but this series I think is going to be much more exciting than the other one. This series is going to be a banger.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
I think personally, I think this is the Stanley Cup final.
Like it's better than the Stanley Cup final?
I think it is. I think it is the Stanley Cup final.
Oh,
Whoever
you think
wins the series is winning the cup?
Oh, interesting.
Because I think that both of these teams can beat the Cats. I think that Rantanen will beat the Hurricanes if it gets to that. And I think that McDavid also would beat the Hurricanes. Yeah.
I'd love to see the Rantanen Bowl. That would be so
really
goddamn
special.
funny.
And honestly, you know why I'd like to see it? Because Carolina would deserve it.
Yes.
Similar to Colorado, like you couldn't get him extended. You're finally in this cup window. Like now's the time. Send it, you know? And then they're like, well, we can't keep him for 8 years. And it's like, who cares? You have him right now.
Do it. Just keep him. Figure it out later.
Like real deal though. That Carolina team if Mikko Rantanen had figured out how to turn it on there right now, they would probably be my cup favorite right now.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, ha. Cats are going to walk you about.
Happens. Like, I honestly would be concerned about the Cats if they were facing Rantanen. Like that's
right.
That does change the narrative. Like I don't think Bobrovsky stands tall against the bullets that guy's been setting on net lately. And I don't think the defense keeps up with his vision.
Yeah.
He's been on a different planet.
Absolutely.
With the passes he's seeing.
Absolutely.
We're watching from like an eagle eye perspective where you can see every section of ice at every moment.
Yeah.
And he's making passes I don't see.
He's still in supernova mode.
100%.
It's really special to see. Yeah. I mean, I'm very much looking forward to this Oilers Dallas series. I can't wait to see what happens. Any playoffs that still have the Oilers in it are still fun. I don't know if I said this last week, but I've really changed on the Oilers. I want them to do it. These playoffs have changed me. You know, I started saying, like, oh, this is the most fun team in the league right now. It's the most exciting team to watch in the NHL. The games are so high octane. The goaltending's so bad. It just makes for such fun hockey. And then I've kind of swapped that to I think might be the most entertaining team I've seen in my life. They have the greatest offensive player on earth.
Not going to disagree there.
They have one of the other greatest offensive players on earth in Leon Draisaitl, who just turns it on in the playoffs.
Yep.
They have shaky defense and goaltending, but like Darnell Nurse and Evan Bouchard are like still providing high octane offense too.
Drives me nuts, but yep.
And then like this goaltending like fiasco that's like who's in net, who's not, is he gonna be good, is he gonna be horrific? Like you just have no idea. Like it's so much drama night in and night out, and it's so entertaining to watch. I don't think I can think of a team in my life that's more entertaining.
Could probably think of a couple, but not for good reasons. Like not for things like this.
Like this team is more fun to watch than those 2 Cup Kings teams, those multiple Cup Blackhawks teams.
I think the Penguins might give them a run for their money.
I don't even think they do, because Crosby's not fun to watch. He's amazing. He's amazing. Don't get me wrong. But what's the saying? He's the greatest fourth-line grinder of all time?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That's what he is. He's such a two-way shutdown wizard, cerebral god at everything. But it's not as exciting to watch as Connor McDavid, where he's just like, okay, give me the puck. I'm going to skate through every single player on the ice and put it through my legs upstairs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's hard to imagine that we'll ever encounter this level of greatness again. And it's bizarre that it's happened to Edmonton twice.
Yeah.
How do you end up with the 2 most generational, like, peak talents
of all time?
Of all time.
Yeah.
In 2 separate eras.
Suck at everything, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Canucks hired a coach. Yeah.
Yeah, how'd that go? By the way, also, I just wanted to get your feelings on this before we dive into your coaching.
Sure.
Tocchet didn't go to broadcasting.
No, he went to Philly.
He went to Philly for $25 million.
Yeah, same price.
Thoughts?
So that actually, I'm happy about it.
Really?
In all seriousness, because, like, if he had gone to Seattle, that would have hurt.
Right. Like
it's right down the road. Why would you go there and not be here?
So you're happier to see him leave the market entirely to go like to a different conference.
Well, and not just to a different conference, to a place that he played, that he loves, that he called home, where he's very familiar with like that. Just like logically, it's like it makes a little bit of okay, maybe this wasn't just because the team's a complete disaster thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's a little bit of, it just makes logical sense to me that you'd want to go back to somewhere you called home, somewhere close to your home, in a place where, you know, a lot of the front office, you know, and stuff like that as well. Philly just seems like a fairly logical landing spot. Whereas like if he'd gone to Seattle, it's like, Jesus, how bad is it in Vancouver that you're willing to not even like leave? Really, you know, you're just like going down the road to a different organization
who's arguably worse off.
Exactly, right?
I mean, we can stand here and talk the Canucks and their future all day, but like realistically, Seattle's still in a worse place.
For sure, right? So I mean, Philly, you got a lot of young talent, you got all this stuff, and I really do appreciate how much Rick Tocchet has like hammered in on this like practice facility thing, because like he's making it known why he left.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for that, because it needs to change.
How the hell are you going to coach a team if you don't have a practice facility?
It's insanity.
You're just gonna have them do like little workbooks?
Yeah.
Give them little homework, little stapled packages?
It's so ridiculous. But talking, I'm happy for the guy. I'm sad that he's no longer the Canucks head coach, but like the Canucks organization also just completely deserves it. So, sorry.
Yeah, tough scenes.
Now, Adam Foote. I'm not very happy about this, but I have some reservations about it because when it comes to Jim Rutherford, historically he's nailed the coaching hire. That's kind of been his thing, right? He tried to get Rod Brindamore. He was trying to elevate Rod Brindamore as much as he could in Carolina, and then ended up leaving. Rod Brindamore obviously ends up being their head coach for a very long time. He was the one that got Mike Sullivan in Pittsburgh, who ended up winning 2 Stanley Cups there. And then Rick Tocchet was kind of a home run in the first year, right?
Yeah.
So like I'm gonna hold some reservations here because of that. But there's a few things I don't like about it. First of all, you're kind of picking between like the NHL assistant coach and the AHL head coach, right? In Manny Malhotra.
Right, yeah.
And historically, I think the AHL head coach, picking a head coach is the better call.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with how well Manny Malhotra's done in Abbotsford this year. They're still currently in the AHL playoffs. Adam Foote has a tiny bit of head coaching experience in the WHL, and it went horrifically.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that actually.
So that's not ideal for sure.
I forgot about that actually.
Yeah. So that's qualm number one. I'm not very excited about that. Qualm number 2 is it just kind of feels like you're really doing everything you can to appease Quinn Hughes because Quinn Hughes likes Adam Foote. Don't love that.
I mean, I kind of do. You got to do anything and everything possible to stop this guy from booking a one-way ticket to Jersey.
Yeah, I know. I guess you're right. I've already accepted that that's over, so whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I don't know. I have to imagine that if management loses Quinn Hughes and then, like, all of the dominoes fall, you have to assume that that's the end of a lot of people's
Jobs.
So
sure.
you're kind of clinging to anything and everything you can. Like, you may as well start planning weekly parades outside of, you know,
Yeah.
like
Well,
launch a practice facility operation build right now.
yeah, no doubt. But then qualm number 3 is just like, look, the Canucks are so drama filled, right? It's literally been year over year drama after drama after drama after drama, from the fiasco with Travis Green and Jim Benning to Boudreau's firing to then like even this year, like you have like a major national media rift between your 2 star players. You trade one of your top 2 centers away because of it. You have a goalie with an unprecedented injury that keeps him out almost all year. You have a GM that's out here just spouting off in the media all the time, causing even more stuff. Like, it's just been so much drama. And it's like, okay, maybe don't hire the guy whose son is currently actively in the most high-profile Hockey Canada sexual assault trial we've ever seen.
Yeah. I'd like to say that, like, that shouldn't affect his career or his standing or his promotion, because, like, he didn't do it. But, like,
It's not about blaming the father for the sins of the child.
no, of course not. But it's just one of those things where, like, you don't even want to give that optic either. And then, but my thing is that, like, isn't Adam Foote more of like an emotional coach than what Manny Malhotra is? And if
I
you
don't know.
like, he just seems like he would lead with more of an iron fist than he would a calculated approach. Where I know Malhotra is a fairly calculated and like,
He's a pretty cerebral guy.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of what you would need to bring into this environment with things being so loud.
It makes sense to me, yeah.
Like, would you not want to muffle the alarm clock with a pillow rather than, you know, put a blowhorn next to it?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I see what you're saying, and I agree with you that like it shouldn't necessarily matter for this guy's career, but it's just like for the Canucks specifically, a team that just needs things to chill for a bit. because that's not even including the fact that their coach just walked away, which doesn't happen. Like, coaches don't leave places unless they're retiring entirely, right? They get fired. That's what happens to coaches.
Yeah.
So you have a coach walk away, and then finally they signed Tom Willander this week. But like, yeah, that disaster as well. And it's like, maybe just like
Do the easy thing.
just do the quiet, easy thing one time would be nice. I don't want to be on this podcast talking about the Canucks.
Yeah,
I do, but I don't.
that's kind of where I'm at with the Devils too. It's just like,
Yeah.
God, just like, I don't know. Fritz this year did the same thing. He went out and said a bunch of dumb shit in the media that immediately puts pressure on the team to make moves, but now it ruins your leverage essentially.
He even just did it with the like, we got to make big changes.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, dude, just shut up. Everyone knows you need to make big changes
Yeah,
because
just
you
do it.
f***ing lost.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
You lost 2 years in a row, and you didn't make the playoffs in between those. So I mean, like, come on now.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, no shit. But like, the last thing you need to do is be saying we need to make major changes because now everyone's gonna go, okay, so this guy's a sucker and he's looking to, like,
Yeah.
stupid.
No,
It's
I
just
know.
stupid negotiation tactics. Like, you're not gonna win any leverage by saying we need to make changes.
No. Speaking of changes, last thing I want to get on here before we get out here is what do the Leafs need to do?
They need to get rid of Riley.
Morgan Riley?
They need to get rid of Marner.
See that though, like that's not them doing anything, right? Like they can just they can let Marner and Tavares walk here.
I think you keep Berube. I think you
I agree.
lose Tavares.
'Kay.
You definitely lose. I'm blanking on his name. What's that big stupid who keeps bouncing between the A?
Ryan Reeves.
Yeah, you lose Reeves. That makes no sense. Like, what Toronto really needs to do is like approach this like a base zero budget team and go through your books from top to bottom.
Mhm.
Start at 0
Mhm.
and be scrupulous about it. Here's what this guy makes. Here's how long he is. What does he provide?
Mhm.
Is that value we're willing to provide?
Mhm.
Are we willing to pay him this for that? If not, no.
Right.
It might be a year or two. It might be 3 or 4.
You
But-
think they should commit to that though?
I think you should at this point. I mean, like, who cares if you're making the playoffs if you're never doing anything about it?
Yeah.
Congrats. I mean, like,
Jay, what do you think?
I agree with that sentiment.
Mhm.
I would love if they moved off from Riley as well. I would definitely let Tavares walk. Although, like, if you do commit to that, like, you probably have to. You'd probably trade Matthews.
I think you should.
Yeah.
That's exactly where I was going to go. I actually think that you try and keep Tavares for cheaper and you move off from Marner and Matthews.
yeah, I don't hate keeping Tavares if you can keep him at, like, a significantly smaller value. That's fine.
If you can keep Tavares at $6 million, I think you do it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fine. That's totally cool with me. My
Easily.
biggest issue was, like, he wasn't doing a lot for a long time at way too much money.
Yeah.
But he has honestly recovered all of his value and then some this year.
Yeah.
I meant to say it, I don't know, like 7 or 8 pods ago, and I just always forgot. But I kind of ate my words with Tavares this year. He played really well.
Yeah.
He looked really, really solid.
He was fantastic. He was fantastic.
He reminded me a lot of like Patrick Marleau in his late years, where it's just like, oh, okay, this guy can ball out still.
Yeah.
Like, he is in front of the net.
Producing more than Marlowe was in those late years too.
Absolutely.
Okay, here's one for you.
Or Pavelski, sorry.
Shout out to Pavelski.
Another excellent vet who produced high numbers
Yeah.
late into his career.
If you're trading Austin Matthews,
Yep.
he's going to be going to a team that probably doesn't really care about the recent playoff stuff and is just trying to get some real elite talent. You got 2 years.
Mhm.
I got a team on my mind that's desperate to have the plan they laid out last year work. I'm thinking Austin Matthews to Nashville. A team that has 3 firsts this year. They could trade 2 firsts to Toronto and still have a first of their own. Along with a good amount of prospects, Matthew Wood comes to mind, 20 years old, got NHL minutes this year. Would you do a package like that?
Yeah, I would. 100%. I mean, if you're already watching half of your UFAs walk out of the door, yeah. Yeah, trade and liquidate what you have and get some value that can accrue elsewhere because, like, what are you really doing with this guy otherwise?
Yeah.
Unless you know that you're going to have a Panarin situation happen where this guy just drops in your frickin' lap because he needs to play in Toronto.
Sure.
Which I doubt. I doubt with the media circus and with how soft every player is.
Yeah.
Every single player. And do you even see with the guys who are like, oh, yeah, like, I can handle that. I'm going to go and play in Toronto because, like, that won't affect me.
Yeah.
And then somehow it does, and they're like, it affected me. It's like...
See, the problem with trading Austin Matthews and my, like, when I walk through this thought process is, like, Austin Matthews would actually probably figure it out in the playoffs if he was, like, the number 2 guy, not the number 1 guy.
But he's getting paid like a number 1 guy. And
Yeah,
that's the issue.
Well, and the bigger issue when it comes to trading him is that teams that would want to trade for him or / have the capabilities in cap space and whatnot are teams that want a number 1 guy.
Yeah, I think that some teams that are trading for him will see him as a number 1 guy that just hasn't, like, he scored 70 goals.
I know, that's exactly what they would do, of course. Like, that's why a team like a Nashville or like a Utah or Detroit would be into an Austin Matthews deal. But like, I don't think you'd probably be getting the Austin Matthews you want him to be if you're still leaving him to be the big dog in the playoffs. I simply think it's time we say it. Austin Matthews, not a gamer.
Yeah.
Not a gamer.
Not a gamer. I respect Austin Matthews a lot less than I respect Jack Eichel.
Same.
And, like...
Or Leon Draisaitl, for that matter.
Yeah. He does not land in my even top 10 of guys I would rely on in a must-win, must-score situation.
I'm so thankful that our fantasy league's only for the regular season. Because I got Austin Matthews. I've had him for a long time. He's been phenomenal for me every single year. But yeah, I've seen enough.
Done.
I saw it. I've seen it twice this year, too. Saw it in the Four Nations, gold medal game, and Game 7 here. This guy doesn't have it.
No, Buckle's under pressure, and it's tough to see. But you need a guy who's cut from stone. You need a Kachuk.
Mm-hmm.
You need a guy that doesn't care about the pressure, that thrives under it.
The Leafs, I actually think the Leafs kind of need their Kachuk trade. Right? Because that's what changed it for the Panthers. They were good. They won the President's Trophy.
Yeah.
It wasn't until they traded Huberdeau and Weegar for Matthew Kachuk.
Yeah.
The Leafs need that moment here. They need a trade like that, a big one that brings in a big dog.
I absolutely agree. I think they need to hit a home run with whatever they do next. That one, that doesn't even need to be said.
Yeah.
But I think that beyond that, they either need to be sending multiple things out of the door to get something better, or completely dissolving the asset and just focusing on rebuilding from scratch, because those are your 2 options now. Is you either commit.
It really is.
And I don't, being real here, I don't think they have the roster or the numbers to realistically retool this thing into a competing factor if you lose some of the UFAs we just talked about.
I agree.
I think that was what was holding the screws together for a long time, and we've always said it. This is an incredibly mediocre team with a ton of top talent.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it. If you lose that much top talent, those many goal scorers, that many play drivers,
I think it's time.
Yeah.
It's time to rebuild.
I think so too. I think that you liquidate everything you can, and you just hold on for. And let's be real here, honestly. Trading Matthews for a couple firsts this year would be a great idea. There's a couple guys in the draft that are through and through Toronto draft stock.
Absolutely. And this is why I said Nashville, because Nashville has a 5th overall pick that I think would have to be a part of that deal. I don't think Nashville cares about making that pick. They care about making the playoffs next year really badly.
Yeah.
Trotz needs that to work.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that if you're Toronto, that's a great pick to get. There's going to be a lot of pieces available at 5.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And most of them are going to pan out. You'd have to be an absolute moron to pick a guy
Sure
that
hope so.
isn't going to frickin' work.
You sure hope so.
Some of the talent I've seen in the last year, watching the Dub, the O, and the Q.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in a minute.
It's been really special. Yeah.
Like, we're about to witness in the next 4 years, 5 years, some generational talent strike through the NHL. It's going to be crazy.
From Canadian Junior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Canadian junior development has come a long way.
Thank God. Last thing I do want to say, just a quick note here. The only thing I'll give Toronto is that stat came out this week when the Caps got eliminated. They only got past the second round once in Ovi's 20-year career. Isn't that something?
That is something.
And what happened?
They won?
Now, if you're a Toronto fan, I do want to leave you with a little bit of hope in that.
I don't, because that's still that's still that's nothing to be proud of.
I disagree. I'd trade that for a cup all day. I'd take 20 years of not getting out of the second round for a cup. No question.
No.
You know what? You and your privilege over here talking to me about, oh yeah, I don't care about a cup. It's easy to say when you got 10 of them.
3, but yeah. And like a bunch of like finals appearances and Eastern Conference appearances to boot.
Yeah.
That was a generational team.
I know.
Much rather have a generational team than 1 cup.
Okay. Same.
Just saying.
What does that mean?
I would just.
I'd rather have 1 than none.
That's true too.
Yeah. Hell, I'd take the Leafs' level of success right now at our pace. They've made the playoffs 9 straight years.
I don't want what the Leafs have.
No,
you guys
neither
can
do I.
keep it. Honestly, I'm not jealous. If the Devils are due for this level of like failure,
They might be.
I can't handle that. I will actually riot. I will throw myself off of. I will buy a ticket
Hey,
to the nosebleeds.
That's our thing. You leave us riots.
I will publicly guillotine Fritz in the streets of New Jersey if he
All
doesn't
right.
turn this shit around.
All right, we got to get out of here. This is insane. It's getting a little out of hand. All right, well,
My
we'll see
fault,
you
my
next week,
fault.
assuming the FBI doesn't show up at our door for publicly guillotining Fitz.
Just kidding. We love you, Fitz.
Yeah. All right. Jay, you got anything else?
Nah,
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Well, this has been a blast. Next week, 3rd round will be fully underway. Cannot wait to be here. Cannot wait to talk about it. I'm sure everything's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm stoked. That was a blast. The playoffs have been awesome so far.
They have. They really have been.
I'm really stoked to see what happens in the openings of these series, and
Yeah.
I'm really stoked to talk about it moving forward. I have a feeling that we're going to be talking a lot
Yeah.
about the Stars
Oh,
and
yeah.
Edmonton series.
Oh yeah.
That one's priority number 1.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Thank you all again. As always, I am your host, Tico. This is my co-host.
I'm yours truly.
We over there have our producer,
Producer J.
Pope J. Keep
Indeed.
your dang head up.
Keep your head up.
Boom.
Boom.
Stick talk. Stick talk. Stick talk. Stick